Oi, oi! We're back. The intro worked on time because I gave Jamie enough notice to be able to get involved. We will probably have to hang about a few moments for you lovely viewers to start joining in. But on this week's show, do a bit of an intro now. We've got loads of rants that have been sent in, so thank you for those. We'll be going through the comments as well, so I'm sure there's plenty that people have been wound up a bit about this week. I don't even know, Jamie, if we better get everything covered, to be honest with you, because there's so many different topics that are up. We'll talk a little bit about punting again. I did put some tips up and bets up for Saturday. Was a loss on there, so I'll cover that off as quickly as I can in there. Talk a little bit about the stable tours, because obviously there's lots of news about where horses may or may not be going, and I just wanted to touch on the depth of those. There's a lot of stuff coming up this week in the Racing Post. In the Racing Post. So a lot of people are going to get them for their members online the night before. Alan King, Gordon Elliott, I think there's a few more, but there's lots of information coming out. Obviously, Cheltenham's back this weekend, Friday and Saturday, so we're going to talk a teeny tiny weeny bit about that. But I will just touch on the fact that Jamie hopefully will be with me again on Thursday with a guy, Paul Spector, who has been on the Cheltenham Exchange. People know him from the Fat Jockey Forum. Very good judge. He's doing a lot of stuff servicey wise and like putting himself out there a bit. So he's going to come on and we'll have a little chat Thursday. We're going to do a live preview for the Friday, Saturday stuff for Cheltenham. And then I'm hoping to get some of his views for anti-post stuff this season as well, because he's a pretty reasonable sized punter on there. And then he does well out of it, like I know a lot of us potentially do. So that'll be an exciting one. And then Q&A will bang back into that as well. So, Jamie, people are asking first off, is there a power cut in Ireland tonight? There's not, Dennis. He's here. He's with us. Jamie, you're looking good. You're looking happy. How are you doing?
Great. Now, and yourself, Dave? Happy on holidays.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, man, I'm good. We've got a tiny, teeny bit of a delay. We are aware of that, so we'll just have to suck it up. But rather than over talking each other, we'll just have to go with the gap. We've got loads of rants that have come in. There's a few things that I might want to get off my chest too as well. Is there anything that you need to just get off before we go straight into the emails, Jamie?
It's been a quiet week for me this week, Dave, I suppose. The way I look at that is there's only one rant I have slightly, is the fact of the matter is that why isn't everyone in the racing world going on about, I see a lot of people giving out of the positioning of Champions Day. I suppose I respect a lot of people's opinions about it, but it is what it is, like. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's there for a reason. And I see mostly people are all these it's National Hunt folk that are saying it as well on top of that, like, do you know what I mean? What gets to me is that if you don't like it, don't watch it. And I see a lot of National Hunt folk who went. I see it all over Facebook, it's all over Twitter. And then to say that, oh, this is not really Champions Day, but why the fuck are you there so? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you at Ascot? Why are you giving out about it? The biggest problem I have, Dave, is that people are giving out about it, is that the fact of the matter is that the price of the horses that are actually winning the races, and it's not punter friendly. But if it was punter friendly, oh, what a great day at Champions Day. We had a fantastic day. Keep it to where it is. That's my problem. If you don't like it, don't be talking about it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But you're still going to watch it because it's Champions Day at Ascot. To be honest with you, my personal preference, Dave, it should have never been taken away from Newmarket. And that's just my opinion. But I suppose Ascot is Ascot, and that's what the way they wanted. The ground, I think the ground at Newmarket would be as bad as Ascot. But the fact that matters is that they've gone to Ascot, they've done up Ascot, you get more people into Ascot. That's fine. But if you don't like it, don't watch it. I mean, like, fair enough, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but if you don't want to watch it, if it's not punter friendly for you and you don't like it, stop giving out about it, because it's in the calendar for a reason. Because it's in the calendar for a reason, because of every weekend, week out, there's Newmarket for about a month. They could congest that. If you technically, you could put the Cambridgeshire on the same day as the bloody Cesarewitch, or something like that, or mix in all the juvenile races together, the Middle Park, the Dewhurst, and the Cheveley Park. You put all that in one day, and people would turn up. It's in the calendar because of that, really, if you think about it logically. But stop moaning because it's not punter friendly. I'm like, I was absolutely tearing my hair out. I should have backed that big rock. I knew he'd go out in front. It was a front runner's day. I was like, oh, you dope. I should have backed Trawler, man. Never backed Trawler. No, I was playing golf Saturday morning, and I just missed the Trawler man race, and I got off the golf course. But Big Rock very annoyed me enough. As I told you back via Sistina, I didn't fancy King of Steel. Got done there, so that's racing. But I had a small bet on the Gatekeeper, too small to make money off it. But if you don't like it, stop moaning about it, and that's my rant over.
Oh, good man. I'm glad you had the chance to get out. That's a like semi-typical theme, not the Ascot stuff. But if you've got a problem with it, if you got, but when, that's the old thing, isn't it? Though people used to say, if you've got nothing nice to say, just don't fucking say anything. And also, it's like the guitar lessons thing from Ricky Gervais, right? Where he's just saying it's not for you. Like if you don't want bloody guitar lessons, don't moan about it. Like if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. There's plenty of people that do like it. Like it's even more annoying, isn't it, when people are sort of what's the word, contradicting themselves when they go in there loving life when it suits them, but then when it's not, they want to slate it off. It's not like a balanced, unbiased opinion. It's just people fucking wanting to whinge in it. That's what this place is for. Have a whinge on here. Save it all for the Ranting and Racing. Let it all on here. Say that Champions Day was shit because you had a bad weekend, but be honest about it. Don't pretend it's anything to do with where it is in the calendar, to do with the weather or anything like that. It's a fixture. It's in there. It's been there for a long time. Fuck up about it, basically. Right, I'm going to move on to some ranty bits in here. Or do I want to rant a little bit? Maybe a little bit. Mine's a tiny one. Mine's a little tedious one. We've got some good stuff that's been sent as well. We're going to kick off with a voice note on that front. But another 101 beat. Kinross is killer in it. But again, this is the reality of hopefully sharing some bets with people, seeing what's going on. There are other things that I will be betting on, which are difficult for me to share everything because there'll be like less time between when I decide to put the bet on to when I could publish it and you guys would find out about it. So I'll share the stuff as I'm doing where I can give you enough notice. But even like I messaged you, didn't I? The fact that I backed Chelsea, I did do a little trade on them. They went to W102 and go and get beat as well. Some weekend for all that stuff. There was a dog as well yesterday, Scaglietti, that was bought for £45,000, right? Went off at 1-4 in a maiden open. It's already won opens in Ireland. It's beaten Ground Derby dogs. It's an absolute beast, an aeroplane, but it's allowed to run in a maiden here because it hasn't won over this country. Bet365, the lazy but odds compilers, just opened it up 7-2. So a few lads got on at 7-2. Then a dog was withdrawn, so all the bets revert to SP. SP's at 1-4, ends up coming fourth, so they couldn't even get out of the exchanges. So I count myself lucky that I missed that one. But I did get looped, like sort of duped into So Royale in that race on Sunday, just because he was, for me, just too big a price. I know the drift potentially stinks, but I just thought he was just too big a price because he wasn't being prepped for anything. It was his main target, when all that sort of stuff, and it's just wasn't the best.
Shout out again to Scotty Bad Boy Rudd. He said, Scott Rudham, that Rubo is a good thing, and I back Rubo, yeah. So thanks to Scotty for that.
No. Fine. Well done, Scott. Love life. Well, let's move on to no, well done, Scotty. Good chat. And you did say before the race as well, to be fair. Right, let's move on to the rant. There's a handful of them in here. We'll see how many we can weasel our way through. Right, we've got one here that is an audio note, unvetted as per usual. So if there's swearing, profanity, or anything weird, then I'll stop it in the midst of it. But we'll play it and then we'll deal with it after, Jamie. Only because of the lag, I'll feed in straight after and then I'll get it to you. Let's go.
Little rant, lads. Basically, these people on Twitter and social media who put tips out, but they don't show no slips, betting slips. Say if they have a good day, 4 out of 4, 3 out of 3, you put out another tweet saying, "Oh look, first time I've done this," but then you ask them to show a slip, and they don't show a slip, and it's like, how can you trust someone and take their tip when they aren't even doing them themselves? You know what I mean? And it's like certain people on YouTube and these big Twitter people will have Discord groups, Telegram groups, and they'll big up these people, and it's like you're blowing smoke up their ass. It's like me saying I'm a porn star because I've shagged the fucking blow up though. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not right. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Have a good one.
Fair. So I mean, that could be taken in a multitude of ways, I think, because I guess it's probably not such a sweeping generic comment that everyone that puts out tips or everyone that's got a YouTube channel or everyone that's got a Discord, Telegram is in the same brush. I think I get the vibe that he's going with, because there will be lots of people that will be out there willy-nilly shoving up names of horses or suggestions of stuff, but without necessarily saying to you, this is a serious bet today, or I'm putting these 4 in a multiple or whatever it is. They might put 2 or 3 selections up without any suggestion of saying I'm backing these as win singles or lucky 15s or whatever. And then when they finally do get a winner up, they decide to say, oh, I had this in a lucky 15 as advised, boom in the group, all that sort of stuff. So it is different depending on who's doing stuff in it. But I know there's plenty of people that do that. I think Icy's been digging at a few people. I think he's been saying that Gavin Lynch, off of his thing, put some horses down as horses to follow, and then he's included him in his profit and loss type stuff, but they weren't ever actually advised as bets by people that subscribe. But I don't know. I'm not part of his subscription service. But this is where it gets misleading as well, doesn't it? Because the same people that will be booming saying that they've backed them might be the same people that just make shit up and say that they didn't tip them or whatever it is. So it's quite a personal thing, isn't it? But it is. I'm like a big advocate of the fact that Sorry, go on, mate.
Sorry, no, to cut across you. If Icy knows what Gavin Lynch is doing with that, right? Icy is getting, or he's paying for it, or he's getting the info off somebody because Gavin Lynch now is a paid service. So, does he explain where he's getting it from?
No, I don't know if it's just in the comments underneath where someone else is just saying they've seen it or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's tricky with this stuff, right? Because this is why it all has to boil down to, ultimately, it's your own opinion, right? I do like listen to what other people say quite a lot. And I do listen to when people have got an edge or something and they just show me stuff, might bet stuff blind. But ultimately, it's my choice what I'm doing, isn't it? And it should be the same for everybody else. But I do hear what he's saying, that it is very frustrating when people haven't haven't made something obvious that this is what they're trying to do, this is their system. Just they want to boom some winners. They might scatter loads of selections out there just to be able to say, oh, wow, I've smashed it out or whatever. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's plenty of people out there that do good stuff. There's plenty of people that, for probably valid reasons, don't want to share what they're staking, what they're doing, because it's an impressionable thing you can potentially do to people, like to do to other people. I obviously do like to share my stakes, just for the reality that I've had it quite a lot of the race courses where the way I talk about some horses, and especially with the anti-post stuff, where I used to share my bet load and people could see I'd had a few £1,000s worth of bets across the season. People were probably making the assumption that I was having £300-400 on horses at times, whereas they was seeing when I shared the bet load that it's an accumulation of smaller bets, and the same on some weekends. There will be bets, especially on the dogs, that I might have a few quid more on. But most of the time, just because I really fancy something, you don't need to necessarily be having lumps on. It's what you're happy to bet with and whatever your own stuff's doing in it. And obviously, it does get risky if you start chucking out bets that, whatever it is, like if I was betting, say, £1,000 a bet, I would probably be more reluctant to share my stakes because I think it causes more damage than good. Whereas because I feel like I'm probably like a lesser staked punter, I suspect it would probably surprise people with the amount that I stake. I probably feel happier sharing that because it's less likely to make people go overboard if they see lower stakes, if you know what I mean. If I was betting £500 a bet or whatever and I was sharing that for people, I would feel a bit like, oh, fuck, man, like I can afford to do this, but other people not be able to. So it's tricky to know what can and can't be shared, but you have to just form your own opinion. And with X and all those sort of things as well, just block people that are, or mute people that are just like not so good, or that are winding you up, because it gets flitted about in whatever way. They do the For You section at the top, didn't they? There'll be people I'm not seeing, then it pops up. It's hard to get away from it sometimes. But if it's winding you up that much, then the same as
you're gone very current, man. X.
I had to say it because I kept calling it Twitter, and someone said to me the other day, I don't know what it was.
It's always going to be called Twitter.
I know. Well, anyway, we've done enough of that sort of stuff. It's a very individual thing, and it still alludes back to what you said with the Champion Stakes Day stuff. If you don't like it, it's not for you. Don't look at it. But I do hear what he's saying, that it can infuriate, can't you? Like we've had it before as well. Like there's some people that we might speak to that we know full well have done their bollocks on a day or whatever, or have advised some sort of bet or something, and then might start celebrating something else. And it's borderline fraud, isn't it? They're pretending they've had a great day just to save face when people out there will buy into it. Anywho, we've got a few. Liam Firkin sent an idea. Liam, I'm going to leave this one for a little bit later on. Not this show. I'll do it for another week. But he was basically talking about using Twitter Spaces or something to collaborate to do pool stuff. So, like the syndicates on Colossus and Tote can do it as well. that we might be able to use it as an opportunity when we get some big weekends coming up. We get enough of us together. We can use the ability to vote and all that sort of stuff. We can see if we can build some slips, see if some people want to put some small amounts in, and then we can win some big money. There's some pool stuff that's happened this weekend that's caught a couple of people out that could have won big cash.
We can talk about that Thursday, can't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right. So there's one we're going to pull out here. Horses being pulled out. So again, I do vet some of them. I haven't vetted this one. Morning, Dave. All right. And Jamie. He didn't say Jamie, but I'll say anyway. Just a quick one. Horses being pulled out constantly due to ground. Hometown Boy, in my 10 to follow, hasn't ran for 900 plus days. Stuart Evans pulled that horse 3 times last week. Warwick, Hexton, Weatherby due to the ground, which is described as good. Hometown Boy goes on good ground. Letting any news have a walkover. How am I supposed to have a good chunk on this horse when it's constantly pulled out? Is the trainer protecting his mark? He's entered twice this week, Carlisle and Cheltenham with rain forecast. Does he run? Only Stuart knows. Love the show, fella. So I mean, I've seen this horse. Well, I'm glad he hasn't been out yet because I wanted to wait for the 10 to follow stuff to come out. I know Chianti Classico managed to go and have a little run, but this horse, especially when it's had 900 days off, as much as you liked a bit of good ground before, when horses get older, especially when they're jumping, they're probably going to want to have a bit more ease in it. And I don't think good ground would have been Hometown Boy's preference in the first instance. But Stuart's a smart guy as well. He's not going to want to waste a mark. So that any news race that he was in against as well, when it was just a too much race, it wasn't worth any money, was it? He'll be marking for race. He's definitely one to watch. I know it gets frustrating with horses being pulled out, mate, but I would much rather they were pulled out than they run them when they're not trying, and then you watch it and you think, why the fuck did he run him? So pull them out, and then at least you know when they do run them, they're going to try. And especially with this, when you see a horse that's regularly pulled out, you know that it's tuned up to perform at the beginning of this month. So if they hold it back for a month, it's only going to potentially be further and further forward. So you know it's ready to go. Does it wind you up, Jamie, or would you rather see him not run if they don't want to win?
It doesn't. Slightly it does, but not really, Dave. No. Getting back to what you're saying there, that's actually a decent race. We'll get on to that. In fact, what's he say? What did Ginger Joe say? In fact, so that he good ground probably.
He was saying the fact that he's fragile, then good ground's probably not ideal first time.
That's actually like if he runs.
The trainers know best. You have to trust him, didn't you?
If he runs in that race in Carlisle on Thursday, like if they all kind of half him, say maybe 3/4 and turn up, that's actually a decent race. I'd be very inclined to back Giovinco if he ran in that. I think could be a decent horse to follow for the season. Now it's a lot of talk about him. There is a lot of talk about this Giovinco, but no, there's decent horses. Grey Dawning, Could Risk It All, to name but a few. I see Colonel Mustard's entered it. People are getting a bit excited about this horse, like 148, surely too high at the moment for a Grand Annual, but they might chunk a claimer on him, and Bob's your uncle for a Grand Annual. But I think Colonel Mustard has been entered for the weekend for see what his handicap mark is in the UK. Not got to do with is he going to run good or not. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting with especially these novice handicap chases because there tends to be some good races where you can have a race where 10 will run and the 9 that got beat will all win some sort of pot in the season. There's always some fairly tight races. It does look pretty good this weekend. Right, we'll peel through a couple more because we have got some. This one started off with no real rant. He's just saying that he's glad that the Tory circus has ended. Right, we have got another one that's been sent in saying this is from a long-time viewer, not first-time caller. I'm going to leave your name out of it just for the sake of this one. I know you said you're happy for me to pop it in. There's a tweet regarding Cheltenham anti-post, and it pissed him off, basically. The guy reacting to the tweet has form for anti-post tipping, is on shows when it suits them, but then at the same time, when it suits them to jump on the bandwagon of, talk about anti-post racing, all that sort of stuff, because it knows it will get a level of interaction, just seems to do whatever they're doing. And he makes a fair point, right? That the biggest viewed content, especially when you look on a YouTube, is anti-post Cheltenham content. You could do an anti-post tip for the Hennessy now. It wouldn't get anywhere near as many views as the second we do Supreme Novices Hurdle preview. We could do a Supreme Novices Hurdle preview now and it would get more views than any video I've had on the video on the channel so far this season. And again, it goes back to the Ricky Gervais joke. They've referenced it again in here as well. That at the end of the day, it's not for you, is it? If you don't want to watch it, don't look at it. The thing that makes me laugh as well is we get into this little rabbit hole that is horse racing Twitter, and we feel like this is the only thing that is shown to the whole entire world. some of my mates, when we go down the pub, I'll see them sat on Twitter. They like boxing, so everything on their feed is just to do with boxing. I've got other mates that don't really give a shit about anything, and potentially it just might be pictures of like scantily clad women or whatever. But whatever you're showing an interest to, the phones and medias are now designed to show you what it is you want to see. And if you're getting wound up by it, you're just playing into it, aren't you? It's just going to show you more of that stuff. So stop fucking looking at guitar lessons if you don't like it, and stop like being on the gravy train when it fucking suits you as well. We'll keep it anonymous in there, the person that posted it. I know they're happy with it, but it is a wind up. You see it every year, didn't you? At least I'm consistent. I love Cheltenham. I'll never stop saying I love the anti-post stuff. I'll never be embarrassed about it being Tuesday. It never is. Plenty of people do it. I make money out of it. If it was a bad thing that I was doing, like if I felt it was I don't know, if it was contributing to the reason why people are having gambling problems, all those sort of things, then I would be different to it. But the people that got gambling problems don't want to bet anti-post because they can't be asked to tie their money up. They would rather find a Class 5 horse at Wolverhampton or wherever, Dundalk, all of those, and think it's the same. A 7-1 poke and a Class 5 at Wolverhampton is not the same as a 7-1 poke at Cheltenham. But we've been through this sort of stuff before, haven't we? Like I say, that Scaglietti was a 1-4 poke on the dogs on Sunday. It wasn't. Ricky Holloway's an absolute rogue of a trainer. There will be some 1-4 shots that should be fucking 1-20. It's all in everyone's eye, and it's so like a very personal thing. We'll move on to the last one, Jamie, because that started to wind me up a bit in it. We've got. Oh, is it a voice note? There's a thing on. Oh, we might have another voice note. Sorry for making this play last. See if it plays.
Go for it.
Oh, it won't play. Oh, right. I'll have to sort that one out for next week. But there's a little bit of text in there just saying thanks for picking the cheer. This is from OJ for Cheltenham Exchange. It's not playing the file at the moment, so we'll save you for next week, Owen, and I might even see if I can crop it up and make some sort of video for you. Right, that's enough of our chest, right? Should we skim through the comments, see if there's anything worth bringing up, or should we move straight on to us? More talk about us, more self-indulgence.
Whatever you want, boy.
Right, no one's really saying anything there. Get pissed off in the comments, will you? Fucking useless viewers. Why? I'm joking. I love the support. So punting, right? I posted the stuff Friday for it, so I did the old stuff. Right, I actually annoyed myself with this as well, mostly for the fact that I've built a profit and loss tool that I've got that I've started to put stuff in. I've put stuff in there. I should just share the file every fucking week so you can see what's going on there. I'm going to add it to OneDrive. I'll do it in the next couple of weeks. Just busy with work and a couple of other bits that are going on, but I'll sort it out so you guys can just log in there. You don't have to wait for the show. You can go in there and see it's all transparent. But for the 21st, I advised £175 worth of stakes. That's what I'd fully done. We had a non-runner in there. We had the place blue stocking. How did she not get up? So we got £60 return. So we lost 115 quid minus 66% return on investment. But rolling now for the 3 episodes that I've put up there for those is 616 out, 763 back. We're up 147. It's a 23.85 return on investment. If we can get through a season, right, and the return on investment's above 10%, I'd be pretty happy. If you get yourself into the 15-20%, then you're an absolute judge. But with the fact that I'm putting these out in advance, I'm sharing these like profit and loss as my prices. I'll do the Betfair SP and SP stuff as well because that's going to tweak it. But you need to get like the higher percentage return on investments. You guys will all know this anyway without me saying it. There is an element of value that does start to creep in. So although I want to be able to make us money off of Betfair SP, the chances of me being able to get up to like a 20% is probably difficult. But who knows? Maybe we're ready to do it. You can get yourself 20% if you've got a bit of an edge somewhere else. Anyway, enough on that. I did lose a few quid on So Royal. Obviously lost on the racing. I actually lost a couple of extra quid Saturday Champions Day betting and running like really stupidly as well. Thought there was a few quick trades I could get and messed those ones up. So weren't too good for me. How about you, Jamie? I feel like it was a hard weekend for punting. Did you manage to get out of it okay?
Yeah, it was a hard weekend punting, Dave, to be honest with you. There's no point to lying about it. It was definitely a hard weekend punting. I showed you the bet I got on. I couldn't get on as much as I could. A horse called Ishan in Limerick. There was a huge gamble on it. You could see even Johnny Ward's comments afterwards about if you back this horse, the bookies are going to be running because this horse opened. I can't remember what price it opened, and then all of a sudden it was 11-4, and I was like, there was a huge tip going around for it, and I think it was like Fairy House of Punchestown last year. And it was really back from 40s in the morning to, I think it went down to about 2s and ended up 6-1 and it still won. And I goes, what's this horse running there? And I was looking through the form and I goes, hold on a minute. He's running over the wrong trip for the last 4 or 5 runs, and then they put him back over. Now I know the race he won in, I think it was Ferry, I was a Punchestown, it was 3 miles, but this was 2.5 plus, and I goes, yeah, that'll do me. But what happened to me really to get more on was that Bet365 limited my bet. The other side of it was that I kind of shit my pants as well, that he went from 5-4 to 4-1 before the off, and then came back into 7-4, then went to his SP. I was getting a bit worried, but fair play to, we're not going to say my native person from my own town, Philip Enright, who didn't do the same with Sinisia the week before, that he was on him that day. And in fairness, coming up the top of the bend, I thought he was struggling. All of a sudden, then Philip left out an inch of rain and he just went for it and he just scooted clear. Do you know what I mean? I was happy with that, but I wasn't happy that the fact of the matter is, well, look, it's Champions Day and that's what it is. It's Champions Day. It's a tough day. If there was no Champions Day, I'd have made profit, but that's the lay of the law of the land. You're going to go punting on the big races and try to look for an out, and he was my out, and thank God for him.
Yeah, that's it. I do like Philip Enright. It's good to keep giving him a mention every single bloody week. Thanks for that. Frankie, I'm glad he has retired though. The Kinross one killed me just for the fact that he got him boxed in, didn't he? And he asked the horse too much. Like I knew he wouldn't. Well, I say I knew he wouldn't get him boxed in because he did get him boxed in, but I knew he wouldn't allow the horse to not hit the front in the race. But he probably panicked and decided to try and niggle him or push him out rather than being a bit more patient and waiting for the gap, because he knew if he'd have waited and not got the gap, he would have got pelters. So he did everything he could, but the horse had done a bit too much. I'm just annoyed the fact that I didn't put it in there. And again, for like I say, for that profit and lossy stuff, we've had the I Write 101. We've had Kinross on Saturday. I could have got through it. Blue Stocking, admittedly, didn't get up, but could have been a different day. But that's the point of betting, right? It's variance. It's all going to move up and down. We'll get good days. We'll get bad days. And other bits. Something else I actually do need to ask about, Jamie. Someone sent me a message on Twitter. The price has gone now, so it's not irrelevant still bringing this up, but sent a message over just saying that it'd be good to hear our opinions, because Sky Bet had put up a bet for a horse to stay unbeaten for the season. He wanted to know what we thought of, like, how you potentially could work out value on that, whether we're interested in it. The bet he talked about was Constitution Hill and El Fabiolo to go unbeaten through the 2024 season. It was 6-1. It's now down to 9-2, I think he said. No, 7-2, I think he said now. But are they the sort of bets that ever lure you in? Do you ever get stuck into the horses to remain unbeaten for the season to try and boost a bit of a price? Do you find it difficult to spot any value on that, or is it one you just swerve?
I just swerve. 6-1 is probably a decent price, but it's 6-1 for what, 3-4 races, so you're getting 6-1 on 8 races, maybe. Yeah. Constitution Hill is what, the Fighting Fifth, the Christmas Hurdle, the Champion Hurdle, and maybe Aintree. El Fabiolo will probably be now, because when Ergmean's gone, it's going to be the Hilly Way, Dublin Racing Festival, Cheltenham, and Punchestown. Now I see Willie Munn say he might bring him to the Tingle Creek. I can't see that happening now with Ergmean gone. I don't think he will play. Look, years ago with a Moscow Flower, Azerty up in Chief, you'd have seen it, and hopefully we do. El Fabiolo, John Bon, and who else? Edwardstone, sorry, will be the third horse in it in the Tingle Creek. Will they play their cards that early? I don't think they will. I think El Fabio now is probably going to Cork for the Hilly Way in December. No, those novelty bets done Lumery, and maybe about, what am I now, 37. I'd have been maybe 20 years ago they'd have lured me in.
Yeah, I do. I kind of like them, but I feel like they represent value when you get closer to the end, as opposed to them like right at the beginning you could ever set, because injuries, unluckiness. Like I remember when the Tour was beaten by Clarkham in a novice's chase, just smashed through a fence. There was no need to try and ride him to win a race. Like Duvan did his hip, all that sort of stuff. I know they're different things, but it's horse race at the end of the day, isn't it? And El Fabiolo is stepping up into open company. Sure, he looks like he's an absolute weapon, but yeah, they don't lure me in. But fair play, you beating a price. So get on it. One other thing I just want to mention, just for the sake of it, no one likes the dogs. A few weeks ago, I posted something on Twitter saying I'll give away another couple of freebies for the Romford competition. The guy who won that, Rob, won the whole competition, so he's a few £100 better off. That Davy B's doing another one this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I know the National Hunt Jump Racing's gearing up now, but he's doing them quite regular now. So if anyone is ever interested in the dog stuff, I'm more than happy to hold your hands on it, because betting on the dogs is a nice little avenue to go down. Right, let's move on quickly to the stable tour stuff, because I obviously I knew what was going on at Willie's when I tipped up to Poo. Basically, I had a text from Willie. He said, "Should I go chasing? Should I go stayers?" I said to Poo, "Win stayers." So he said, "Fuck it, I'll send them over fences then."
You're not afraid of the 2022 Albert Partler winner, no? Coming back to beat Tupu?
No. 2021, the nice guy might worry me, but not 2020. I'm not worried about him.
2022, he won with it? 22?
22?
No, 2022, yeah. Wasn't it?
I thought you said the 2020. Yeah. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about any of them.
You're not worried about the nice guy?
This will lead on to...
Seriously, I'd be seriously worried about the nice guy against Tupu, yeah. If he comes back.
Nah, well, anywho, it doesn't matter. But I thought he was all right price there, regardless of what gate it was doing. Like at the time, we thought the gate was still going to go over hurdles. I also put a post up on Twitter, which has bent my head quite a bit. So there was a tweet put out by Architect Tips that does the odds checker stuff. Every now and again, he sticks like a little curious tweet up. He said, might be an undivided, unpopular opinion or something like that, saying that for me, I'd have Harry Cobden over Harry Skelton any day of the week. And I was thinking, probably like the least controversial opinion ever. That's basically just saying that if someone wants to give me £1 million for free, I probably would say yes, whereas everyone else say no. It's the least uncontroversial thing. So like it was there, like 90%, 95% of people would agree with it. I put out the tweet saying, what do you think's easier, open hurdling or novice chasing? And I can't believe that 47% of people think that open hurdling is easier than novice chasing. Just like it astounds me. And we don't even need to go into a debate about it now, but novice chasing is easier than open hurdling. We probably can touch on another time, but I was staggered by that. I cannot believe that so many people thought the other way around. Maybe, I mean, I'm not wrong. I know I'm definitely right. I'll do some number stuff as well to probably to negate an episode to it. But with this in the Sable Tour stuff, there is lots of things that... Sorry, go on.
The only reason people are saying open hurdling is 47% because technically you really only have 2 races at the Cheltenham Festival, because you don't have 2.5 mile hurdle like you do have the Ryanair. So obviously the 7% is coming from people backing the champion hurdle winner, and the stairs hurdle is a lot harder.
But it's not just. I
know what you mean.
I didn't even say it was to do with Cheltenham.
Yeah,
the whole season, like the Hatton's Grace. Do you think that what do you reckon would be easier for a horse to win? A novice chase will go and win the Hatton's Grace. If I word it like that, it's different, I think.
Well, I know the winner of the Hatton's Grace, like.
It always depends who's lining up, doesn't it? But all I mean is, like, you see, like Forheen, Willie Mullins sent in novice chasing because he wasn't going to be a Grade 1 herder anymore, was he? He's doing the same with Classical Dream. The novice chasing, unless a horse is doing it as like their upward curve, they can't wait to get him over fences. Potentially, they're doing it because they know a horse has reached its ceiling over the other discipline. I mean, it's up for debate, but it's definitely novice chasing's easier. I'll do the numbers on it as well.
If I see what you're saying, but the only thing is with open hurdling the last couple of years, when it comes to Ireland, it's been dominated by honeysuckle.
Oh shit!
But like it's Manhattan's Graces, and then a Willie Mullins horse has won the Morgana, which is probably being downgraded now because people are more targeting the Hatton's Grace, because Morgana was good when Hurricane Fly was around and you'd have a decent horse up against him. That race has kind of lost this bit of a prestige. Maybe it needs to be downgraded because people seem to be targeting the Hatton's Grace more because of its 2.5 miles, and you can send a horse back to 2 miles if it doesn't stay, obviously. And then you have the Christmas race, you have the Dublin Racing Festival race. Do you know what I mean? And then you have, no offense to shite in England, the fighting fifth is like when you see like the year before, like when you see for Constitution Hill, you see Not So Sleepy dead heating with Epitaunt, and then Epitaunt winning a nothing race then at Christmas, and then there's nothing else. Do you know what I mean? Like that race at Haydock used to be decent years ago. The champion hurdle trail, sure, hasn't been the champion hurdle trail in about 40 years. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, the one at Kempton's gone now, isn't it? The contenders hurdle, they've taken that.
The contenders,
calendar now,
the one
haven't
at
they?
Sandown, yeah, that's gone. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I think where's the 47? That's where the 47% has come to, because there's been no one against the so-called champion, and that's what's going to happen with Constitution Hill.
Yeah,
And
I
you
think as
have
well, like
Impere,
recency bias
and you
comes
have
into it, doesn't it?
Impere Pass now, who probably has a free run at a Hatton's Grace this year. But you're going to have your horse, Teahupo'o, is going to obviously try to defend its crown.
It's going to be exciting, but I wonder if it's a bit more of a recency bias, because you think of like the good hurdlers. I know like Stayers Hurdle is definitely a division where it's for failed chasers or not very good horses. Like, I know it sounds really rude to say that, but Big Bucks wouldn't have won the Stayers Hurdles that he won if he was any good at jumping fences. But the thing is as well, like in Britain, sadly, most apart from Constitution Hill, but if you look at pretty much any of the races, novice chase, or literally any race, any division, novice chases, staying chases, like open hurdling, novice hurdles. If anything from Ireland came over that was a grade 2 horse in Ireland, it would clean up in all the races over here, because we're just absolute pants, aren't we? But I guess it's just one of those, isn't it? But it's exciting to see, and there's obviously lots of potentially.
You've been pants for the last 10 years, though.
Well, no, but it's desperate. That's why the Masterson Holding Hurdle on Saturday, right, is a race. I love that 4-year-old hurdle. We had a good go on Soviet Pimpernel, didn't we, when we got done? But I won't bring that up again. But like this year's the worst renewal since they sponsored it. I think 2011 they started. For the fact that Blue King Daru's 138 rate, it was 6-4, was trounced at the track before. Like, it may be that he's an all right horse, but was beaten in a handicap the last day. You know, he could go and win this, could win by 10 lengths, and all of a sudden people are like, this is a serious horse. Is he a champion hurdler? Is he going to go and win the international? All this sort of stuff. And you'd be thinking, he's a fucking 138 juvenile. They're overrated as juveniles anyway. Like, it's mad. It makes me sad that nothing from Ireland's come over. But then what's the point? Like, what's the value in coming over and winning those? Like, Pied Piper came and won it last year, didn't he? And it's a pointless one.
But the biggest problem is that the fact of the matter is why that race has been so shit this year in the entries is the fact of the matter that Willie Mullins dominated the Triumph Hurdle this year. And he wants to send... He's going to have...
the best British horse last year was Bo Zenith, wasn't it? 138.
Yeah. I don't know where he is. Was it Lassie Moat and Gallimore? So it's going to be Mare's Hurdle. He's on about there, and he's stable to Resent that might be going over fences. After that, I can't remember who was in the rest, man. So I didn't care really once Lassie Moat won. But that's your problem. But like, where are the Fred Winter horses? Like, where's obviously Jazzy Matty, big stump of a horse. That's obviously going chasing. There's no bike, or like Sundial has been running through the summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could have been a poor year. Do you know what I mean? Yet, but it could have been a poor year because the fact matter, there is a program for the mares for the going forward for the after the Triumph. You know, there's more for the mares. It was mare dominated last year, wasn't it? The first 3 were mares. So that's the problem, because they have their own program. And that's why that race has become so shit, because that's just the way the year worked out, unfortunately.
I know, and that's what I'm hoping I can tell myself. It's just a bit worrying, because there's been like bad novice hurdlers for a while. Even when you look at the Albert Bartlett, there's horses in the Albert Bartlett that were running in that race the same age as Teahupo'o that was running a Stayers Hurdle. So as much as they've run all right in an Albert Bartlett, I think the horses that pulled up in the Albert Bartlett will be the horses that didn't finish, like your Corbett's Cross and other ones, might end up being the better ones of it. But it's just we know it's been a bit worrying over, haven't we? But the lack of even giving a shit is what's worrying me, because you would have thought in the good old days, like, I know Nichols has got that Blue King Daru, but even at the entry stage now, I don't understand why these, like Nicky Henderson and Paul Nichols, it's a shame to see that they both haven't got a couple even just entered, let alone actually declared. They just physically don't have the horses to do it, and that is a tiny bit of a worry that they seem to have just given up on the whole juvenile scene of it. And then if you look at the novice hurdle side of it as well, it's just pot luck what Nicky Henderson gets given at the minute.
But what they should do, Dave, is that the fact of the matter, isn't that race? Is it Saturday? That Sky, Grade 2. That's been moved from the November meeting, am I right?
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't. To be fair, I haven't looked at the car for the weekend yet.
That race on
The novice hurdle.
Saturday,
Is it the
the
shark?
novice hurdle, yeah, wasn't that moved from the, or is it a Supreme trial in November? Is that
Yeah,
there's a
because
difference?
Altior won it, didn't he, in October?
Yeah, like I never remember the grade 2. I mean, I'm being totally wrong. I was like, why is there a grade 2 in October?
No, I'm sure it was because Altior won it in October once, I think.
Yeah. So, but regardless of that, what they should do
He
with
started the season quite early.
Yeah, so what they should do is, I see Scotty Rudd saying it's been upgraded, which is fair enough. I never realised that. But what they should do with the Masters and Hurdle is move it to November and switch a race out. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like just give a little bit of a chance for horses to get back on the road. Do you know what I mean? That would be just my opinion. It should be there. Make them November meeting. What technically slightly a bit better. Do you know what I mean? But I would do that. Maybe you get more runners and you get more Irish horses over then. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I mean, like with no Irish horses in that race, it's pretty pants, really. If just my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it, because I wasn't sure whether Affadil might go for it. I know he's going to go for a
Yeah,
handicap.
I thought
because they know that he's
well
handicapped.
I thought Affadil would go for it as
even,
well.
Yeah. But again, even giving him an entry is like shocking that he's not. You know, when they just get in everything for the sake of it. But anyway, I've talked way too much about the Masters. We will do that live preview Thursday night. That's going to come out at 8:30. Maybe we'll do it before we can get together. But I've got a good interest in a couple of races already, just holding fire to see what goes on. I sent a couple of emails out and a couple of texts to see if I can find some bits out. But there's like some good racing, good field size as well, because the ground looks like it's going to be lovely for everybody. So we did quickly touch on the Sable Tours. I think Gordon Elliott's comes out tomorrow. Cheltenham Exchange, and confirm that in the comments. I think Alan King's out this week. There's more bits and pieces that are coming out there. I'm a little I don't know whether disappointed is the right word to say, but something along those lines, that like there's not like there doesn't seem to be like as much value that comes out of it. You know, these horses and training books that you can buy where it's just a very generic, oh, we've got to say something positive because why would you ever say anything negative about a horse type comment? They don't really give you like in their pecking order where things are, and then people will just interpret what people have said however they want. Even the snippets on Sporting Life that they put in there for the novice chasers, when you go and actually listen to the video they put on YouTube, they've reworded some bits that are said in there just to suit whatever weird little narrative they've got. It's obviously good to get those bits of information in it, but it's almost like I don't know. I feel, especially with Willie Mullins, it's almost feels like a bit forced. Like they're asking him stuff, and he's just like, "Look, lads, it's the beginning of the season. They've jumped a couple of fences at home. We saw, the pecking order of what they did before. I don't think we're going to be telling you anything you don't know. It's just whether they are going over fences or they're not."
There's something
I don't know. I feel like there used to be a bit more information. You could read into it a bit more, couldn't you?
There's something I agree there with. As I said to you, I touched on it last week of the at the races preview with Kevin Blake. What Kevin Blake said, and it fell out that Matty Sutcliffe said that he says, why is Willie Mullins saying that the horse that I love, and I touched on him last year in the Punchestown preview, Ballyburn, why isn't nobody putting him up for the Supreme and how keen he is? And it's something that hasn't been really touched on, unless, well, if you think you're a so-called good judge. I honestly think this horse is a Supreme horse. But obviously he might settle now and he'll become a Ballymore type and he has the speed at the end to burn off the rest. But at the moment, when you look at him from a bumper, the way he's running bumpers, that he stinks of a Supreme horse to me, I think. And they're all going up. Mirasol West is the one for the Willie Mullins, because Willie Mullins said that Mirasol West is, he takes the eye in the gallop. I wouldn't like his head carriage if I was a punter, a proper punter like that I'd be very worried about his head carriage. I know there is a full brother to Fernie Hollow, and even Fernie Hollow's head carriage is questionable. Well, hopefully that horse will come back. But there's that side of it too. You have to think outside of the box a small bit. Like I backed him for both the Supreme and the Ballymore, just to cover my arse. if you know what I mean, because I really like the horse, and that's just my opinion. But I actually agree with Matty Sutcliffe said today that why isn't people
Well, that's it as well, isn't it? Because
saying this is a Supreme horse, and I think he might be. But look, it's too early. He hasn't jumped a hurdle in public yet.
Well, exactly, and that's what it feels like, doesn't it? It feels like you're not allowed an opinion. If Willie Mullins says they're aiming for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase, that is definitely where they're going to go. And I know you don't want to just argue for the sake of arguing, but so like him, Gaelic Warrior, for me, the 3 miles test at Cheltenham, jumping over fences, he was straight enough in the Ballymore, but fences will be a different beast. You saw Sharjah, right? If you ever go back and watch his hurdling, I never would have considered him as a horse that would jump out to the right. He runs down flights. Everyone, we've seen it in these novice chases. So not saying Gaelic Warrior will do that. He might jump lovely, but he does hang as well. Now, for me, he would be a Turner's type horse rather than a Brown Advisory if he's going over fences.
I have a funny feeling, Dave, that it could happen, like a big buck with Gaelic Warrior. And I'll say it now. I think. I wouldn't.
Well, exactly.
I'd back him now for the Stairs Hurdle. What price you know he's gone way out, isn't he?
25s. But that's what you think. Tony Bloom, the big old punter, and Nergamine's out for the season. He wants to get a few quid back. Willie Mullins accidentally says Gaelic goes for the Brown Advisory, getting bet over the stairs. Stranger things happen, didn't they?
And Nergamine could end up first time out in the Queen Mother going for 3 in a row. So I won't worry about that yet. But like 25 to 1 in Gaelic Warrior for the Stairs Hurdle. I had a bit of it during the week when he drifted. Just for the crack. I had a bit of it because I wouldn't trust him over the fence. That's just me.
But
I see in
the he might have the respect for the fence. He might be made for it. He might be perfect for it.
You never know. I think that
that's it. That's it.
Is a better horse.
Well, that's it. And this is the point I guess you're like making, aren't you? Like we don't know yet, and just because someone said something at the start of the season doesn't mean that's how it's all going to pan out. And you shouldn't let it shirk away from what you view as your opinion of it. Because there was people like Ginger Doe, didn't he? He said he fancied Gaelic Warrior to go over fences.
He did.
And at the time, I think a lot of people were just like, Willie Mullins has already said that he's not going to do it. They're saying that like they're definitely go over the Stairs Hurdle. Why would you go against what they're saying? And he's outlined it. He wrote an article on it, I think. But like saying like this is my belief. This is me believing this is it. Just because they said it's not going to happen doesn't mean that I'm not going to entertain the possibility. Fuck me, I put a moral for an article that we're all hopers at some point. We all see things differently, didn't we? But if you're not backing your own opinion and you're happy just to listen to what everyone else says, that's where it's painful. And back to Ballyburn. Sorry, go on.
On Morel, he's not entered for the Paddy Power test, is he?
Stop talking. Stop doing it to me, Jake. I've lost enough. I can't afford.
I think he's a good. He's surely good thing for a handicap.
Oh yeah, they'll be right. Stop telling everyone about it. He's one of the emails. But we've got no. We'll share alike. But Ballyburn, going back to yours one, they were saying in the Racing Post where there was some people. I think a professional punter, I can't remember who it is, but I got sent this by a couple of people saying, fuck me. The comments in there are like the whole article's pretty trash, to be fair, for someone saying that they're a professional punter. They put up Ballyburn for the Ballymore as the best anti-post value bet right now. You're saying it's 6-1. It is the single best bet. And I know we're all taking a bit of a punt like on a Sam Crow or something saying, oh, this is going to be a horse that we've heard all the vibes. It's going to go for this race. And it might end up going off at like a 6-4 poke. But we don't know for definite yet. And like you said there, like I know Willie Mullins has name-checked the race, and a lot of people, probably the majority of people, would think that he's a Ballymore type. But we just don't know what's going to happen with any of it yet, do we? So it's like, I don't know. Like there's bad advice that goes out there, and then if people just fold back and just say, "Oh, okay, well, someone that's supposedly more respected than me said it, it must be true," you're going to lose your own shit over that. You have to just back your own opinion, make your own choices, fuck what everyone else says, but listen to me and Jamie, because
I don't know about that.
Just listen to everyone in it. That is the key thing, though, right? You listen to everyone, get the balanced argument of it, but listen to everyone, right? You know that you got to take it all in. You know, we want to hear different opinions, and sometimes you want to hear someone say something different to what you think because it makes you think, hang on a minute, am I wrong? Or it makes you think, no, it makes me even more like bullish about how right I am because I'm seeing everyone else is seeing a different angle. It can help as well when you work out whether bets are going to be popular or horses will be popular in certain races if you get a bit of a feel for what people's views are and stuff. But anyway, I'm waffling. It's not like me to waffle. Should we touch on Cheltenham for the Friday and the Saturday?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at today, Dave. It's not great, to be honest with you. Getting back to that race with I'll start for during the week. The one horse that I really fancy during the week on Thursday, Clonmel, is a horse called Limerick Lace. I see it enter there. And there's a horse tomorrow, I think, is it a Hereford in the first race, favouring Fortune for Alan King. And he ended up, he's open to 8 to 13. Sure, look, if you want to be an odds on punter, it's up to you. That'll win easy. Limerick Lace, going back there, it was one like a novice handicap at Nace. I know it was off a mark of 128 at the time, at the top of my head, and it was getting, obviously it was off 121 really, because Aidan Kelly was a £7 claimer at the time. Beat a horse called Jody Ted, who won there at Limerick on Sunday. It was second, then went on to Nace, and in the grade 3, I think it was the Sunday before Cheltenham, they had a Leinster National. The second to Journey with Me was beaten 3 lengths by Journey with Me. And then I obviously went on to the big mares listed race in Berryhouse, and was obviously hammered by Instead and Allegoria de Vassi. But sure, this horse, whatever price it is on Thursday at Clonmel, I'll be having a bit of that. Whatever price I'll be backing it is a horse called Limerick Lace. And Gavin Cromwell trains it. Going on to Friday, to be honest with you, I never saw nothing. I think it's that grade 2's on Friday. I really like that horse. I know, look, we're going on about RPRs and this and that, but this Willie the Builder that won at Uttoxeter first time out really caught my eye, and I will be backing Willie the Builder if it runs. After that, all the rest of them, I had a good look at all of them. Nothing's really standing out, but I'm going to be backing Willie the Builder at Cheltenham, yeah.
Nice. Right. Well, I haven't really put that much.
And obviously,
I will be doing live on Thursday. So you guys are going to have to come back.
We'll touch on obviously with the declarations on Thursday, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So we'll have the full decks. We'll go for everybody's give us up, like what we're fancying, what we're betting, and things like that as well. There is it the Old Roan on Sunday as well at Aintree? Is a race where that's probably I'll probably better give you the Paddy Power Gold Cup winner in there, because last couple of years I've bet something in there and it's gone and won the Paddy Power Gold Cup after getting beat in the Old Roan. But
Gino is going to win that.
Well, whatever it is, I'm going to get something beat in that, and it'll go and win the Paddy Power Gold Cup. So I'll tell you what that one is. My Drogo's obviously really excited to see the fact that he potentially could be back. Just to see him on a race course would be sick, wouldn't it? But that's a decent looking race. So it's exciting that the racing's getting back now. Decent jumps racing. Got some stuff to be excited about, and it's just going to ramp up from here now, isn't it? Because there's decent racing pretty much every weekend off the back of this now. The weather-wise, I know everyone was moaning about it for Champions Day, but weather-wise, it couldn't really be better. I've looked for a bit of a long-range-ish forecast. There's enough rain about that should keep it good to soft, or yielding or soft in most places. And then there's a bit of dryness as well to stop it from getting too boggy. Of course, weather can change, everything can happen. But I do think we're going to get a good run through November, which can make a big difference to the season.
Dave, what's yielding ground? Give me the definition of that in the UK, because it's never in the UK. What's yielding ground? Come on, give me the definition of it.
It's good. It's your good to soft, isn't it?
I love that you've come over to the Irish talking now. Yielding ground.
No, but there is. I mean, I'm talking about the ground. I'm saying that over it will be good to soft. Over in Ireland, it will be yielding. I just want to make sure that the Irish understand what we're talking about. What's this good to soft? What's he talking about? But we've had years, haven't we, in the past where we've had Willie Mullins, Gordon Elliott, all of those talking about horses they can't get out because the ground's not safe enough for them. I don't think we're going to have those problems this early in the season, and that's a massive, massive help when it comes to punting, because I remember a good few years back, in the middle of November, you would have had quite a few of the good horses already out. In recent years, some of them we've been waiting until Christmas to see them come out for the first time. It almost becomes the norm that you think, oh, well, they're just waiting for better ground. But they could have issues if they're delayed. So hopefully we'll see, especially with Willie having so many novice chasers, hopefully we'll see plenty of them out in the next few weeks.
I see your comment. Sorry, not your comment. Someone's comment that Mr. Nicky Henderson has said that your favourite horse of all time that you've complained about, ranted about, and said he's not a good horse, and that horse might be running the Slur in November, and it's John Bonn. So what you said to that?
He should be. Yeah, he should run him in the slower than the Tingle Creek. 100%. He's a 2-miler. Champion chase all day long for John Bond. Same as last season when everyone was saying step him up in trip, he needs to step up in trip. Think about Nicky Henderson for starters with horses that should step up in trip. Altior stays all day. Shishkin stays all day. The only race he can run him in this country over that trip will be later in the season, and it will be the Ascot chase, and it fucking ruins his horses. He's never going to send them over the bigger trip earlier in the season because there's no decent options to do it. I want to see John Bon El Fabiolo again. And again, I do think El Fabiolo was the better horse, but John Bon would have learned more from the Arkle than El Fabiolo did because John Bon hadn't really fucked up his fences and they went so quick he made loads of mistakes. That Celebration Chase win, make no mistake, that was by far and away John Bon's best performance, and it was a good half a stone better than anything he'd done before.
Be in the rain there.
So no, he shouldn't. He'd go 2 mile all day. Underso, right? Again, it's like the novice chasing thing all over again, right?
Yeah, but what are you on about? What are you on about? Hold on, no. Underso couldn't win a champion chase, so then he won a Ryanair. What you on about?
But that's potentially what like a John Bonny thing. It should not be first preference.
So
same as Min.
We correct, right? So basically, we have the 2025 winner of the Ryanair, and that's Shamban. When he can't win it at 2 miles. Like Min couldn't win it.
We'll agree on that. He can go win the Melon Chase this year, can't he? Go and win the Melon Chase.
Undersoul couldn't win a champion chase, so he won a Ryanair. So we have the winner of the 2025 Ryanair. Write it down, people.
Could happen. But what I'm excited about, right, is when Willie Mullins touched on the Tingle Creek. I think we talked about this before with Ernergamy and all that sort of stuff. And I said that Willie likes to send one over, doesn't he? I would love it for racing's perspective. El Fabiolo, John Bon, and the Tingle Creek. So round 1, El Fabiolo, John Bon in the champion chase, round 2, and then John Bon goes for the Melon Chase, thinking, "Thank fuck, El Fabiolo won't be here." Oh wait, El Fabiolo ran an entry before. Willie just sends him over again. Just let them go head to head all over the season. Imagine them going against each other at 2 miles and then going against each other at 2.5. Like that would be decent.
Well, it's not going to happen.
I mean, El Fabiolo might just trounce him 3 times.
Edwardstone's going to be champ on in the Tingle Creek, isn't it?
Right, that's next week's fucking rant sorted. Right, but we've obviously got a little bit drunk here. Right, well,
I'm not drunk at all.
It's exciting though, right? It is exciting though, right?
It is exciting. Come on, we'll go down through a few comments there because I see poor old, what's this fella called? Dale Grimble.
Oh yeah.
Dale,
so I'll go up to Dale. Where is he? Dale.
My rant is why that horses keep
How early
their coats. Is he? Oh, he's up there. He's up. I have it here because I stopped at here. Yeah. Last minute, it's a parade thing. Law should be one lap for
keep their coats on in trade ring.
I don't know. I understand what he's saying. But
it's got to be that's got to be the biggest it's got to be the biggest non-rant ever, isn't it? Let him have his coat off. What doesn't matter, does it?
The next one is double green. Going to double green. Did you read that Willie Mullins said that
Isaac and Simon, good to have you on.
Did you read that Willie Mullins is about the Factifile going chasing this? It seems really sweet on his chaser. Yeah, I agree with double green. I really like this horse. And as I said, tomorrow there's he finished 14th in the bumper, favouring fortune for Ellen King. So hopefully that's another horse that's going to frank the bumper form tomorrow. I know it's a nothing race at Hereford, but anyway, be nice to see him out. I think Factifile, Dave, is a Turner's horse, not an RSA horse, and I'm going to be controversial there. But the only thing is that I like another Manus horse for the Turners already, and that's Corbett's Cross, because I don't think he stayed the Albert Bartlett, because I thought he was beaten when he ran out.
Agreed.
In the Albert Bartlett. So that'd be my horse, 2 horses for the Turners, and of course, a fella called Jazzy Matty, he knows who I'm talking about, knows that I crib him for tipping JP McManus horses, and I'm after saying 2 there. So the next one is Nick Kennedy. A quick.
So this is true as well. To be fair, this there's no excuse for this other than just pure laziness. He's saying in here that he can't stand it. He's watching a preview and the info is outdated, even though the info's been common knowledge for a few days or weeks.
Well, we're sure we want.
They just don't do their homework, do they?
I think he might go there. Yeah, but anyway.
Right, where are we having a look? That's good, isn't it? We're doing lots of I'm not Dennis. I'm really sorry, but Jamie, you can answer this one. I can't ever talk about the Gopher again. I should have.
Do you think the Gopher
should? Do you think the Gopher should drop back to 2.5?
Back to 2.5 miles to make the maximum. Plus, I think it's back in. I agree, totally. I'm sure it didn't even like. Look, as I said to you last year, Dave, with the Gopher, I never backed him at the DRF, and we were talking about it before. And I looked at George, and I said to George, because, and then I said to my dad and a friend of mine, Tommy's name is. We looked at each other. Why didn't we back the Gopher? And what happened was we didn't realize. Right, not we didn't realize is that the fact of the matter is that race at the DRF is what 50,000 euros more than the plate is. And I was like, or the King Muir, and we're like, oh, that was the day. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and we never struck. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I remember going into the bar afterwards on the Wednesday, and Mascada was favourite for that race, the race the Gopher won, and I said that needs to step back down and trip. And my dad goes, "What are you on about?" And he goes, "Mascada." I said, "We'll win that Grand Annual," and I didn't have enough on. Didn't have enough on whatsoever now, right? Because I thought Dino Blue would win now. Never did the forecasts either, by the way. But sure, that's always hindsight when you look at two horses going up the Cheltenham straight when you do the forecast. But I couldn't believe I didn't back the Gopher that day. And I was on about him all year, and you were on about him all year, and Dennis, go away.
Well, that's it. I liked him for the pipe the year before, didn't I? And then I decided to just get off his coat off the back of that. Because I thought we'll leave that one. We've got a final round. This is going to be the last one. We're going to wrap it up. We do like this.
Before Kieran Sutton says something, Ronan Duffy says, when you have in the finishing line, yeah, we'll have them on, or the Cheltenham Exchange boys. Now, fuck them. But anyway, they'll drive them mad now. Rant.
We'll get them on. We'll do it for.
Of course we will.
I reckon what we'll try and do is, what I think the best option is, whether they're watching or not, but I'll reach out to each of them because I do want to get them on. I think the best thing that we could possibly hope for is we'll do a rant and a racing episode with everyone. So finishing line, Cheltenham Exchange, but obviously like independent, you wouldn't have them all at the same time. But like on a Monday, and then potentially if they fancy it as well, we'll go on their channel for a weekend preview for the races. So we'll find when it's a decent weekend.
Before you do that now, Dave, right? Put that in writing to Alex Galpin, because Ian Rayner will forget. Okay? They know what I'm on about.
Right, we're going for Kieran's one and then we're leaving it as that. Well, Mark Palmer, you sneaked in as well. Right, so Rant, why do people describe the ground differently all the time? Juice in the ground, cut in the ground, tacky service, quick ground, just say good, soft, heavy. Yeah, the thing is, Kieran, like it can be different courses. Tomorrow is going to be a classic example. Real clay-like shitty surface. When it's hard, it's literally like concrete. It's obscene. And then when it gets wet, if it's been hard, it can be like different types of stuff. So potentially they're trying to be helpful, but the problem you've got is people just like to use fancy words. So someone might say there's lots of juice in the ground, which might mean that there's water actually underneath the top level, but they will be saying that when there isn't actually that. They're saying it to describe because they think it's heavy or something. So I'm the same as you, mate. Just say it's good to soft, heavy. People can delve in a little bit after that because the excess bits that they do isn't technically right. They're just saying it for fancy.
I think when someone
Mark Palmer.
I think when someone says juice in the ground, is the fact of the matter is that it's rain. That's just my opinion. Is that when there's people on the racing TV says it's juice in the ground, it is exactly what you're saying. That it hasn't been raining for the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden, then it's rained on top, and that's me juice in the ground. The official going is different, obviously.
But again. Well, exactly. And Kieran's probably ranting for the fact that someone might say juice in the ground, even if there's been no bloody rain about, but they'll be saying 100%. There's still some juice 100%. In the ground or whatever. It's like, it's not technically the right thing, is it? So Maxim, any chance of the National Hunt Chase? Is Salvador Ziggy like a few quid more up 16, same race? Right. I will, it's different for everything, isn't it? Like every horse got his race. Salvador Ziggy is not ever going to win a Cheltenham Festival race. Was never going to win the Potemps. Won't win a National Hunt Chase. Very nice horse. He'll be targeted somewhere else for something. Maxim, I haven't even really looked at or tried to make some sort of case for it. I feel like with the National Hunt Chase, Patrick's going to start getting in Willie's ear about a couple of horses. Because if you think of all these novice chases that Willie's sending up there, there's a few that I read in there, which I'm going to touch on at a later date because they're going to be coming up as an anti-post potential bet. I'm just waiting for a couple of bits. But there's a few National Hunt Chase types that I think Willie's going to have. And I know he's been a bit indifferent over the last few years, but I think there's some that I could make a bit of a case
Like
for.
the only
we'll
thing,
leave it as that. It's a nice race to get excited about early in the season.
the only thing I say about Salvatore Ziggy, like he stopped an absolute walk to begin. So there's obviously something wrong with him. At that race in America, I'm like, he absolutely stopped to a walk. Maxim, I'd like Maxim for an Ultima in the back of my head. Anyway, there's a bit of unfinished business with that horse. At the moment, I really fancy, not really fancy.
Yeah.
I really like Sandra Clegane for it at the moment, Dave. It's just in the horse in the back of my head because I thought if you actually watch back that Albert Bartlett, Sean O'Keefe came an awful right. He should have won that race. If you watch back, if you know and you're watching back races, watch Sean O'Keefe and Sandra Clegane. Oh, it was desperate. It was terrible. But obviously, I back Corbett's Cross, and that's the end of that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but my anti-post bet in the race was Sandra Clegane, and I couldn't believe it didn't win. And like going on further down the field, like with Stay Away Faye and Affidale Fury, like Affidale Fury could be a horse for it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, but obviously Stay Away Faye is going down the RSA Brown Advisory route. Do you know what I mean? Would I be back and Stay Away Faye for a 3 mile novice chase for Cheltenham?
It's just
no.
Well, exactly. And this is the thing there. I feel like from an anti-post perspective, there are certain, I don't know, like there's certain realms that you can look at from a trustworthy perspective of like your open company stuff, like your champion chases, potentially Gold Cups and stuff. You've got a more established known facts to make an assessment on. So you might look at those ones first. National Hunt Chase and like the bumpers, like barely even bothered to look at it. But the National Hunt Chase is a race that I definitely want to look at from a long season opinion out there. But I think it's definitely one that people are getting on the gravy train of it, or getting on the train of it too soon, just because in a few recent years there's been lots of price changes. Like, what was the one for Gordon? Was it last year that was like 12s got back to the 4s, but it was still 12 to 1 like the week before?
Oh, you tipped him, did you?
Whatever it was.
I can't think. I know the one.
I ended up back in Manila Mesnil, didn't I? But what was the
Cocooner? Kroner? Manila Kroner?
No, I did do Manila Kroner, but he's an absolute dog. But there was the other one that you had, I feel like it's the same sort of
more front Run Wild Fred Frontal Assault.
No, not Gigginstown. Anyhow, I should be better. No, it's not Gigginstown. But I should be better with it. There was one that was like a hype horse, got back into a short price, then it drifted back out. Because I know everyone's trying to go for the next like Galvin type thing. Yeah. But there's different times of year when there's bits of like value to getting stuck in there. The National Hunt Chase is still a race where you can back a handful of horses at 16 to 1 or bigger, and you can get in, you can get out. Like a Salvador Ziggy one, for example. If people have backed him, I would be looking at if you've got the option to cash to get your money back, because I'd imagine you wouldn't be any bigger than you've backed him for. Maybe it was Ravenhill. Anywho, we've gone on too long. No, Ravenhill's Willie Mullins.
Chemical Energy. No, Ravenhill was Gordon Elliott.
Chemical Energy's the one, correct? Yeah, Chemical Energy. But yeah, do you remember he went short at one point, didn't he? And then he was back out to 12s at the week of the thing because of the ground potentially going against him. But all I mean is, as much as there's been a couple of examples in recent years, well, I say mainly the one Galvin, just don't get caught into that recency bias again of like, this is a race that we need to start getting excited about another opinion because it's an easy one to pick. And just because a horse that's like a trainer that's like they're trying to target towards them, just swerve it. Like Salvador Ziggy for me would be the type of horse potentially I would think from like a stretching perspective. You know, novices do all right in like an Ultima, didn't they? Gordon's going to have some Kim Muri type horses. Who's to say he doesn't qualify him again for the Patemps? Conveniently starts running poor and doesn't show any like flux about him or something. I don't know. He's never looked to me like a horse that wants an absolute slog of a stamina test. And I think you do get some Patempsy type horses that have got a bit more, I don't know, maybe speed about them than Stay-as-he hurdle type horses. But I mean, who knows? How are we talking about Salvador Ziggy at 10:10 on a Monday? Anyway, we'll wrap it up there, I reckon. Jamie, do you have anything else to finish off before we go?
No, we'll see you Thursday.
Yes, boom. So we will do that. My 10 to follows on the GG website, so you can go and read that. I will publish a video tomorrow morning.
And
me talking
I'm going
about
on Thursday, by the way.
Clickbait for you to go and look at the article anyway.
On Thursday, by the way, people, I'm going to question every one of these 10 to follow. So look out.
Oh my God, yes, let's do it. Well, we'll get some content produced. It's going to be exciting. I appreciate your support, Jamie, and spending the time doing this. We've got a long old slog of a season coming up, but it will be worth it. And thank you guys as well for your support. We really appreciate you getting involved, being on the show, sending your rants in, chatting, making us feel a little bit better about ourselves. But yeah, Scotty's just shoved something in the comments. So if you're still watching live, read that. If you're having to watch it on the replay, stay till the last minute to watch it. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Up the Bugs
qualify for the race. He's only going to qualify for the race. He's not going to win the race. Come on, good luck.
Right, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.